My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
Also often used with a slightly high number. You wouldn't say some 3 people.
Yeah.
It's usually, it means it's quite a lot.
A number you can't count necessarily.
Can't count, and usually quite a significant number.
Like at the weekend, I had a party and some 50 people turned up.
Some 50 people, Sean, but I appear not to have been invited.
Next time, I promise. Okay, and how about the third word?
Okay, third word, we have this one on the BBC website. The word is, the BBC News website. The word is hub. The sentence we have is, the instability in Libya has made the country a hub for people trafficking.
So it's the centre of the activity.
A place where most of a particular activity happens. So we can have, for example, a financial hub would be an area in the city where there's lots of banks, lots of dealings, lots of stock market. In Canary Wharf in London is a financial hub. We can use it for shopping, for example. If there's a place where lots of shopping happens, we can say it's a shopping hub. So centre of activity.
Okay, great. And finally, we've got some features of headlines here. So they're not words, but more grammatical features.
Yes, yes, we have. We're going to look at the verb rescue, which is used in a couple of headlines, and just looking at the way the headlines are using this verb. So in the Telegraph website, we've got really simple subject, verb, object. Operation in Mediterranean rescues 6,500 migrants off Libya coast.
So using the present here, but this happened in the past.
That's the interesting thing about news headlines. They often use present simple for something that's recently happened, even if it isn't actually happening now. The present simple makes it dramatic, it makes it important, it makes it news.
More immediate.
Yeah, it's telling you this is news, present simple. And then we have a slightly different use. We've got a subject and a verb and no object this time. BBC News website says thousands of migrants rescued off Libya. Now that might appear that it's past, but actually what we're looking at here is a passive construction.
Okay, so the auxiliaries have been dropped.
The auxiliaries aren't there. So if we put the auxiliaries back, it could either be thousands of migrants are rescued off Libya, which is your dramatic present simple, or it could be thousands of migrants have been rescued off Libya, so it's a present perfect for things that are newsworthy. Could even be thousands of migrants were rescued off Libya, but newspaper headlines don't care about auxiliaries. We're going straight to the verb. So thousands of migrants are rescued. It's a passive, but it's been reduced for the newspaper.
It saves space, but also makes it more immediate, doesn't it? More
both of those
dramatic.
Things, yeah. And while we're looking at these, the saving space, we also have off Libya. In both of these headlines, it ends with off Libya. There's 2 missing words there. A longer way to write it would be off the coast of Libya, but we just go straight to the important information, off Libya.
So all the grammatical words are, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are missing in headlines.
Yeah, it's all nouns and verbs, nouns and verbs.
All right. Okay, now let's listen to Tim Ullman, who's reporting for the BBC. Listen out for how he uses the word hub.
Around 20 rickety wooden boats packed full with men, women and children, mostly from Eritrea and Somalia. Some cheered when help arrived, throwing themselves into the water and swimming to the rescue vessels. They were found off the northern coast of Libya, a country that's become a hub for people trafficking. The migrants are now likely to be sent to the Italian mainland or Sicily.
Okay, so that was Tim Ullman reporting for the BBC, and he talked about how Libya has become a hub for people trafficking. Now we set you another question on Facebook. This time it was number related, and we asked you, if someone asks you for a ballpark figure, they want you to give them A, an exact number, or B, an estimated number. What kind of response did we get for this?
We had a good response as always, thanks to our lovely audience. And a ballpark figure means B, an estimated number, and almost everybody got that right. To name a couple of people, Esma Tokmak, Rengin Heaven, and Sasha Hertz all got it right, and many other people as well.
Thank you very much. And Catherine, can you recap the words we've heard today, please?
Yes, we had flee, to quickly leave a place normally because it's dangerous or unpleasant. We had some, which is used here as an adverb before a number to mean approximately. And finally, hub, a place which is the centre of a particular activity.
Thank you very much. And to practice these words and find out more about this news story, visit our website, bbclearningenglish.com. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to News Review, the programme where we give you the words and phrases to help you talk about the news. Hi, I'm Sian, and with me in the studio today is Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Sean.
What story do you have for us today?
Today, Sean, we have a story about an ending.
Ooh, can you guess what it is? Let's listen and find out.
The Olympic Games have officially ended with a colourful ceremony in the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. The entertainment included Brazil's world-famous samba music. The president of the Rio Organizing Committee, Carlos Arthur Nusman, said he was proud of his city, his country and his people. Thomas Bach, president of the International Olympic Committee, said there had been a marvelous games in a marvelous city.
So, the Olympic Games in Rio have officially ended.
Okay, successfully by the sounds of things.
Sounds like it, yes, yes.
Okay, so what words and phrases have you picked out from the news sites online?
Okay, so this week I found 3 phrases which are all over the news. The first one is kick off, then we have pass the baton, and we have wrap up.
Okay, so that's...
My photo taste is the Pinterest because are the best. Flick to link, link to flick.
Silly. Now, at this point, you could imagine the snickers of my classmates. But she continued. Think about breaking the word into ass and king, and then put the 2 together to say it correctly. Asking. There were some other moments that reminded me that I didn't belong. Once, I walked into a classmate's dorm room, and I watched her watch her valuables around me. Like, why would she do that? Thought to myself. And then there was the time when another classmate walked into my dorm room and yelled, "Ew," as I was applying hair grease to my scalp. There is emotional damage done when young people can't be themselves, when they are forced to edit who they are in order to be acceptable. It's a kind of violence. Ultimately, I'm a quintessential success story. I attended boarding school and college in New England, studied abroad in Chile, and returned to the Bronx to be a middle school teacher. I received a Truman Scholarship, a Fulbright, and a Soros Fellowship, and I could list more. But I won't. I earned my doctorate at Columbia University. And then I landed a job at Yale. I am proud of everything that I've been able to accomplish on my journey thus far. I have eternal imposter syndrome. Either I've been invited because I'm a token, which really isn't about me, but rather about a box someone needed to check off. Or I'm exceptional, which means I've had to leave the people I love behind. It's the price that I and so many others pay for learning while Black. I police myself all the time. Are my pants too tight? Should I wear my hair up or in a fro? Should I speak up for myself, or will the power of my words be reduced to, she's angry? Why did I have to leave the Bronx to gain access to a better education? And why, in the process of getting that better education, did I have to endure the trauma of erasing what made me, me? A black girl from the Bronx raised by an Antiguan mother. So when I think about our current education reform initiatives, I can't help asking, what are our students of color learning about themselves? Three decades of research reveal that students of color are suspended and expelled at a rate 3 times greater than white students and are punished in harsher ways for the same infractions. They also learn this through the absence of their lives and narratives in the curricula. The Cooperative Children's Book Center did a review of nearly 4,000 books and found that only 3% were about African Americans. And they further learned this through the lack of teachers that look like them. An analysis of data from the National Center for Education Statistics found that 45% of our nation's pre-K to high school students were people of color, while only 17% of our teachers are. Our youth of color pay a profound price when their schooling sends them the message that they must be controlled, that they must leave their identities at home in order to be successful. Every child deserves an education that guarantees the safety to learn in the comfort of one's own skin. It is possible to create emotionally and physically safe classrooms where students also thrive academically. I know because I did it in my classroom when I returned to teach in the Bronx. So what did that look like? I centered my instruction on the lives, histories, and identities of my students. And I did all of this because I wanted my students to know that everyone around them was supporting them to be their best self. So while I could not control the instability of their homes, the uncertainty of their next meal, or the loud neighbors that kept them from sleep, I provided them with a loving classroom that made them feel proud of who they are, that made them know that they mattered. You know, every time I hear or say the word asking, I'm in high school again. I'm thinking about ass and king and putting the two together so that I speak in a way where someone in power will want to listen. There is a better way, one that doesn't force kids of color into a double bind, a way for them to preserve their ties to their families, homes, and communities, a way that teaches them to trust their instincts and to have faith in their own creative genius. Thank you.
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.